It's all about the buckets, baby. The buckets. The buckets. He didn't miss the bucket like I just did. Unbelievable. 12 of his 30 in the fourth quarter. I didn't miss it in my PI 60, though. So go check that out on my Twitter. Anyway, Sixers, 94-89. They withstand the Raptors' charge in the fourth quarter. Brett Brown makes the defensive adjustments, up 51-38 at the half. And they're able to win it, to steal it. This series is tied. Kyle Gaffner is here. I am Adrian Fedke. Great feeling.
Unlock your iPhone first.
Shut up, Siri.
Yeah, dude, that was huge. Like, I've got to give credit to Brett Brown. Phenomenal. It's completely night and day from game one to game two. He made all the adjustments he needed to. They were playing tough. They were chasing after the ball. They were being physical with the Raptors around the perimeter and inside. I mean, it was great to see. They don't make stuff easy, but if they can play like that throughout the entire game, turnovers are still an issue. A little sloppy with the basketball, but other than that, I wouldn't say Brett had any fault tonight in any of it. I think he was phenomenal tonight, and kudos to him.
I mean, to be honest with you, this game should have never even been close in the fourth quarter. They really should have had a stranglehold on this game because of the fact that, you know, they had those defensive adjustments. So in the first quarter, they start 0 of 6 from 3, 0 of 10 from outside the paint. And you can just see how the Sixers were basically collapsing it. Kawhi Leonard doesn't get going until basically the third quarter. Pascal Siakam, who had 29 in game one, got it going a little bit, but from an efficiency standpoint, he really didn't get it going at all. So they have this 13-point lead at the break, but they have 13 turnovers as well, and Joel Embiid really never got going. So that kind of allowed the Raptors to hang around, but Brett Brown made the proper adjustments, and they really should have been up by more than 20 plus, I would say, after that first half.
Easily. And imagine if Embiid actually had gone. He was 1 for 5 going into halftime. He basically only got most of his points at that point from the free throw line. He wasn't effective, but people are probably wondering, well, he's got that gastroenteritis. Why is he playing? Because he's also going to be a decoy out there. You have to throw him out there for his defensive abilities and to be able to get triple teamed down there. You don't play Embiid in this game, even though he wasn't effective in that standpoint. He's still going to be a distraction, and you have to guard him. You can't leave him. It doesn't matter if he's got stomach issues, knee problems, what have you. He's still going to be a force to be reckoned with his rebounding and his defensive ability. So that's why he had to be out there for us to get this big win. Jimmy Buckets was sensational tonight. If it wasn't for him, we do not win this game. I think he was great down the stretch, playing the point. I would like to see that more often than not. They were moving the ball around. They were moving inside out, working it down to Embiid. We kind of got away from that in the third quarter, which I think allowed Toronto, when they made their adjustments, to get back into this game. But we were able to finish it out. Yeah,
so I've got here in my notes. So it was 83-78. So this is the point where Embiid was out of the game. So he left at like the 8-minute mark. In came Amir Johnson, in came James Ennis. Like, oh. But at least the other big three were out there: Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, and Jimmy. So it was 83-78. And at this point, I forget who had a corner three-pointer. But there was a chance for the Raptors to cut it to 2, and they didn't. The shot was missed. And then Jimmy Butler he got the ball in transition, I believe. He went coast to coast, and he goes in for the layup. So it goes from being 83-78 to 85-78, and Sixers are back up 7. They come back. Kawhi hits a 3, if I remember correctly, and then Jimmy Butler comes back the other way, answers back with a 3. So that's what Jimmy Butler. That's why you bring him in here to Philadelphia. That's why you bring the trade. These games like this in the fourth quarter when you need a closer, Mariano Rivera. That's what Jimmy Butler was tonight.
And he shut it out. Like, you can get your wins throughout the regular season by team play, but when it comes to the playoffs, you need your superstars to step up. You need a closer, and since our 2 young bucks were not playing their best games tonight, that's why you go out and get a Jimmy Butler to do what he did tonight, and he was sensational. He got a lot of 3-point plays by taking it strong to the cup, which is what he does best, and getting those 3-point plays. I thought he was at his best when he was moving in transition and taking it right at Marc Gasol. Let's face it, Marc Gasol is fat and slow at this point, okay? You got to have up-tempo when he's in the game. You go right at him. He's not a great shot blocker. He's 290 pounds. You got to tire him out and get him out of the game. And I thought it was great when Greg Monroe was in the game because you want to put a quicker guy on a Marc Gasol because he was having a field day with him. And I thought Greg Monroe, before he got that ankle sprain, played some pretty good minutes to give him a blow. Amir Johnson had to come in because of that injury, whether it was 2 or 3 minutes to get Embiid back. And they made that little run when Kawhi went down and was able to hit that three right in our face. But thank God Jimmy had the answer for that. Now, with that transition three you're talking about, was that the one that Jonah Bolden was able to hit? Or was that are you talking about later in the game?
Which one? The one that made it 88-81?
Yeah, I can't remember who hit that corner three. It was.
Well, I remember that the Sixers, they were 0 of 11 from three in the third quarter, and then Bolden made the first one in the fourth from the right.
Yeah.
That's I remember that one. And there was another big play near the end with Embiid where in the past when he had that ball along the perimeter, there was like 4 seconds left on the shot clock. In the past, he would have hoisted the three, but he didn't hoist the three. He drove in, he spun, he stepped through. The patience, the feet, the nimbleness, the flexibility of Joel Embiid. Didn't have his best night, but he came through when it mattered. And that was a big bucket for them to help win this game.
And that doesn't matter. Right. And I was going to also make that point, too. It doesn't matter if you're 4 from 22. If you can make a bucket like that when it counts the most, all that goes out the window. You're not going to look at that glaring 4 for 21. Not that he shot that, but I'm just using that as an example. That is when you need your big guys to step up, and it was huge. Even with the gastroenteritis, phenomenal.
I'm looking at the box score and laughing because James Ennis took the third most shots tonight on the Sixers.
I like James Ennis, man. I think he's been a nice little shot in the arm off the bench, especially with Mike Scott going down. He's a good offensive rebounder. He's not great defensively, but he was able to hit a couple threes that I saw. What did he end up with? 14 points?
Yeah, he was 2 of 6 to 3. I thought he started taking too many shots in the third quarter.
Yeah, he definitely did.
That was my issue with him tonight. Like, he just kept taking these shots. I'm like, dude, like, stop. Give the ball to somebody else. We have other players for that. You're in here to play a little bit, the defensive end. Sure, hit the three when you're open, but don't take it when you're contested. That was my issue with him. So you look at the rest of these numbers. I mean, Joel Embiid was 2 for 7, and actually, I believe he didn't have a field goal in the first half because his first field goal came at like early in the third, if I remember. So 2 for 7 for him, but like you were talking about, 8 of 8 from the foul line, 3 of 6 for Simmons. 6 points for him, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Tobias Harris, 3 of 11, 9 and 11 for him. But Jimmy Butler was the one, 30 points, 12 of the 30 in the fourth quarter. Kawhi Leonard still kind of went off here. So 35 points on 13 to 24 shooting. Now, Pascal Siakam, he went for 29 in game 1, 21 in this one, but the efficiency not as proficient. 9 of 25, 2 of 7 from 3. So that was the big thing in this game. They kind of dared the Raptors to shoot the ball from 3. They took 37 3-pointers, only made 10 of them, 27% mark. I don't know if that's correct. Yeah, I guess that's correct, 27%. So there you go.
They were putrid, and you knew they weren't going to shoot like they did in game 1. They were like scorching hot in game 1. They had him and Leonard going into halftime had 50 points. I think that whole game, Leonard only missed game 1. He only missed like 5 or 6 shots, which is like sensational. He's going to get his. I thought Ben Simmons was pretty putrid tonight. I have to say his play was killing me when he had those easy buckets and he got scared and he lost the ball 3 or 4 times trying to go up and put the shot up. He made one nice cut that I saw, and defensively he was nice in the first half, but you're not going to slow down Kawhi Leonard, so I'm not going to hold that against him. I think he was good defensively. But if it wasn't for that, Ben's got to get more involved in the offensive game, in my opinion. You got to take it up strong. You got to go right at him. Do not be scared. And finish strong. Go up for the dunk. Don't just try to throw it up there. When he shoots the ball, even when he goes up for a hook, it seems like he puts a spin on it. Like he goes like that instead of just taking it and lofting it off his fingers. It's very painful to watch sometimes. And it's like, Ben, come on, bro. You're 6'10". Just flush it. Flush it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and scream like, we got to trade Ben Simmons and everybody getting on his case. Like, get rid of him for Anthony Davis. He's young. okay? He might get scared in big moments. True. But that's up to the coaching staff and the rest of everybody to bring them together and be like, listen, have your game. Look what you did to Brooklyn. You physically put that team or that game where you went off for 31. You could do that every night in and night out. It don't matter to the opponent. So he's just got to get a little bit more confidence going in his game, I think.
One of the more underlying parts of this game that I thought was encouraging was the fact that they won a game that was 94-89.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at like the 4-minute intervals, and you basically have like 8 possessions per those 4-minute intervals. Well, tonight we saw about 6 possessions, those 4-minute intervals. It was like a game in the late 90s. It was like the Knicks and the Heat going at it. And what the Sixers did was pound the offensive glass. There was a 33-12 advantage in the first half, and that's what they did and basically why they won this game. So a half-court setting, something which Sixers normally aren't supposed to win, but now it's a little bit different because you have that closer in Jimmy Butler. So you can really get the defense going. You can have the limited possessions because you have guys now who could score in the half court a lot more proficiently than you have in the past.
Their defense set their offense up tonight, and that's the type of Sixers team I want to see, because when they play like that, they can match up with anybody, even if they do have a Kawhi Leonard. And the bench scoring was lopsided tonight too. That usually doesn't happen for us on our side. I don't think the bench scored for, Toronto? Was it 5 points? It wasn't much.
I can check that. Hold on.
5 points. Serge Ibaka, 2. Norman Powell, 3 points. So
Sixers had a 26-5 advantage off the bench. And, again, got to give Brett Brown some credit with the defensive substitution. So Boban basically didn't play. You had Greg Monroe, the Moose, play, who was basically a non-factor against Brooklyn, but a little bit different in this series. So he goes for 10 points, and then you had Ennis go for 13, like we talked about earlier. Then Bolden comes in for 9 minutes as well. So you get the speed and more athleticism from Bolden, and that basically replaces Boban tonight.
And the ability to stretch the floor. Boban's too slow to be in this series. I don't want to see Boban. I'm okay. And that's up to his fortitude, Brett Brown, to be able to see this. And like when we had Korkmaz in game 1, it's like, come on, man. He shouldn't have been in that game. I think pulling guys in certain situations in game 1, it was just like, it's like a learning experience. It's like when you first learn to walk. You're not going to start running. And it's a little bit with Brett. It's just going to take a little bit of time to get going. But he shows the ability to come out from game 1 to game 2. And I have to give him credit for that, because the guy takes a lot of heat. Not only from myself, but mostly a lot of the fan base. And I like the guy personally. I think he's a good overall guy. And it kills me when I have to attack him personally. But he has showed fortitude. Now we go back to Philly, where we are very strong at home. Got one of the best home records. And you're going to have that crowd behind you now. So that should fuel this team to be able to just keep that foot on that gas and punch this right down their throat. Because we can win this series. There's no doubt in my mind that we have the talent to win.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you bring up Brett Brown. And, you do have to give him credit tonight, because last year he never made the defensive not defensive adjustments, but adjustments in general against Boston. But we saw it immediately from game 1 to game 2. And that was encouraging to see. So to the people who want to run him out of town, I mean, I don't know if I want to run him out of town or not. I mean, I guess I'm one of the negative ones. I don't know if I am or not. But he's got to show me something. And tonight he showed me something. Like, that's what I want to see. Show me something in the playoffs when it matters. And he did tonight. Like last year, he got outclassed by Brad Stevens. Tonight, he won.
He stuck it in with it. And it's a guy like Nick Nurse. He should now coach you, because he's still a little green behind the ears too. He's a newer coach. It's his first year coach, if I'm not mistaken, as a head coach. So it should be kind of evenly matched right now. He doesn't have the experience and the fortuitiveness of a Brad Stevens, because look at Brad Stevens did against Milwaukee. I mean, yikes. They were able to shut them down, and it could very well come down to Boston advancing. They could easily beat the Bucks.
I did pick Boston. So that's the same situation as last year a little bit there with Boston. And what Philly is that high up tempo offense. Bucks like to shoot a lot of threes, so that buttonholes are free-flowing attack. They slow it down. They play more half-court. I don't know what Milwaukee wins. Now, they, of course, won in 7 last year. So it was a hard-fought series last year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a new coach, so we'll see. And, I did pick Boston to win, so we'll see. And then it'll be Boston and hopefully Philly. I picked Toronto in 7, but we'll see.
It could come down to that home court advantage. I hope not. I'm hoping we're able to steal both games back at home. It's going to be tough, though. It's not going to be easy.
It'd be nice to get both of them, because if you get both of them, the 2 of the last 3 are in Toronto, so you only get one chance to close it out at home. So, this is big. Got to win both of them. I don't want to split. I want both of them.
Got to take both of them. And in the second half, after we played so well, I thought we let them back into it. We started – their offense got stagnant. They got away from going inside out.
They settled for those threes, which is why they were 0 for 11 in the third.
It was terrible. It was terrible, dude. It was killing me. I'm like, don't stray away from what made you so successful in the first half. Yeah. And even when they were starting to make that little bit of run, Brett had 2 timeouts. So if I want to critique him a little bit, I would have called a timeout at that point. Got everybody settled down when they started hitting those threes. Get the defense back set in. Let them know what's going on. Because Kyle Lowry, they just wouldn't go away. We'd go up, and then they come right back with a 3. And it was like, can we not just get it out? Huge rebound by Tobias Harris, too, who didn't have a great game either. That was the biggest play of the game for him. I thought he had 11 rebounds. What did he end up with? 12 points? No, 9 points. He was putrid tonight.
They won game 2 with 3 of the quartet not playing well. So that tells you something.
Mm-hmm.
The team's starting to kind of come together a little bit. Especially, it came together on the defensive end. That's where it came together tonight to allow the 89 points, and you got to keep doing it. So there it is. Okay, final thoughts, because I still got to write a recap and it's late.
The final thoughts we've got, and I'd like Brett to make another adjustment. Okay, so now Toronto came back and learned it's a game of chess. It's all about adjustments, right? So they saw what we did to make the adjustments in game 2, and they're going to make adjustments to shut us down for what we did with the in and out. For Kawhi, I'd really like for us to double him at some point and not just go one-on-one all the time. And I know Brett likes to do that. That's the type of style of defense he likes to run. I'll let your best guy. We'll try to let him get all his points and make the other guys beat you. Well, I don't want him to get 35 points and keep them alive in the game. It worked tonight, but it's not going to work every night. I'd like for us to pressure him and get doubles on him and not have Joel Embiid bite on when Marc Gasol gets it down on the block. He's looking to pass 5 times out of 10 or 5 times out of 6, right? Or 9 times out of 10. So don't bite on that, because they're going to hit you with the roll and the just do not bite on him. Let Marc Gasol beat you offensively. He's going to look to pass. Do not bite on that shit, because Joel, he was biting on a lot of that shit tonight down on there, and he's our rim protector. Don't do that. Let that fat Spanish guy try to beat you. Let him do it, bro.
There it is. All right. So the Sixers win game 2 in Toronto. They haven't beaten Toronto this year with Kawhi Leonard. And this is with James Ennis being your second leading scorer. Good luck, T-Dot. There it is. We're out of here. Kyle Gaffner, Adrian Fedke. Peace.